serving you in Canada and around the world.
And by the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation and its affiliated stations from coast to coast, bringing you the best in sports action.
It's coming to CBC television. It's Sesame Street.
Sally, you've never seen a street like Sesame Street. Everything happens here. You're going to love it. Sure he is. Hello, Big Bird.
Oh, hi, Gordon.
How are you? You know what I want you to do? I want you to meet Sally.
Join Sally, all the kids, and the cast of Sesame Street this fall on CBC television. It's the program that teaches children of all ages all about life. It's informative, but first of all, it's entertaining. Slide down Sesame Street with the rest of the young people. Sesame Street. You'll find it on CBC television.
So on that turnover, the Edmonton Eskimos take possession. It's 1st and 10 at the 40. The new fullback, R.C. Gamble, is jacked at the 36. 9 minutes and 4 seconds remain in the first quarter. There's no score in the football game. The Edmonton Eskimos are in possession, and at this time, we welcome to our telecast from Clark Stadium in Edmonton the viewers on the CBC Eastern Network, particularly you folks in the Hamilton area who have, of course, the vital interest in the performance of the Tiger Cats this evening. King all the way to the 5-yard line, caught there by Mac Lamb.
Great protection by the Edmonton offensive line. King goes up to make a great catch working against Mac Lamb, the former BC Lion, and moves the ball down to the 5-yard line.
For the Eskimos, it's 1st and goal after that 30-yard gain. 8 minutes and 5 seconds remain in the first quarter. It's a scoreless ball game. Jim Thomas was home free.
All alone, it appeared that the Hamilton Tiger Cats dropped straight back. Thomas took 2 steps down the field and slanted outside. It looked like 6 points.
Instead, it's 2nd and goal from the 5.
There appears to be some confusion between Johnson, number 20, and Mac Lamb, number 22. They come right back with the same pattern. They're both covering the inside hook receiver as Jim Thomas puts the first 6 points on the board for the Edmonton Eskimos.
Thomas certainly made no mistake on that to attempt the conversion. Dave Cutler. It's good. Don Truhl completing 6 of 7 for 62 yards and the touchdown throw to Jim Thomas.
Don, that's his 6th touchdown pass of the season, starting very, very slow. Truhl had a lot of criticism in this part of the country because of the way the Eskimos started and the fact that he had 12 or 13 interceptions at one time, but he's coming back very strong, and I think that's the best we've seen him throw the ball all year.
7 minutes and 41 seconds remain in the first quarter. 7-0. The Edmonton Eskimos lead the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Buchanan takes it at the goal line. He stopped at the 24 by Roy Shatsko. At the 7-minute mark of the first quarter, the score is Edmonton 7, Hamilton nothing.
John White-Rainey, the Eskimos' defensive back, or safety, if you want to call it that, is having another great year on interceptions. So far, he has intercepted 9, which is just 2 short of the CFL record he co-holds with Don Southern. This is White-Rainey's, well, he had 11 last year.
Ed Buchanan on that romp around left end picks up 12 yards for the first down, tackled by John White-Rainey. Buchanan, number 24. Let's set that Hamilton offense for you. At center is John Reed. Bill Danichuk and John Holman are the guards. Charlie Turner and Ellison Kelly are the tackles. Christian and Coffey the ends. John Ekman the quarterback. Buchanan, Fleming, Irwin, and Wesolowski, the other members of that backfield. Good gain for Dave Fleming. Joe Hernandez made the tackle.
Great block on the play by Tommy Joe Coffey to enable the Hamilton Tiger Cats to get that sweep around the corner. He wiped out 2 men, including Jerry Griffiths, the middle linebacker, number 33.
A gain of 9 at 2nd and 1. Buchanan was across the 45, which would be a first down. He was then thrown back by John Legrone. His forward progress results in the first down at the 46. It's a 7-0 football game for those of you who may have just joined us, with the Edmonton Eskimos on the head end of the scoreboard. Wesolowski was caught by Ron Forwick. A gain of 3 at 2nd and 7. The ball rests at the 51. Correction, make that the 49.
Come on, John!
5:31 remains in the first quarter. Intended for Tommy Joe Coffey, incomplete. A good defensive play by Mike Law.
As Hamilton lines up with which would appear to be a punting situation, it was interesting talking to head coach Ray Yock of the Edmonton Eskimos prior to game time. I said that it looked that Zuger was going to be punting this evening, and in jest he said, we're going to put our break the other wrist punt rush on. So let's look for it.
Bay Norrie is back with Dick Dupuis. Norrie at the 20 to the 27, brought down by John Mannell. A 39-yard punt and a 5-yard return.
Bay Norrie has to be the utility back the Eskimos are looking for, playing a lot of defense, of course. Now, he has played some split end, some halfback, and at one time, when they had a couple of injuries, they were thinking of using him as a first-string starting halfback. Now, of course, they're bringing in people, so he's back on defense and doing a great job.
It's 1st and 10, Edmonton. The ball is at the 27. Mike Eben comes wide left. Paul Johnson made the tackle on Terry Sworn. John Williams was also over for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Defensively, the Ticats have Billy Ray Laughlin and Paul Schmidlin on the ends. John Barrow and Angelo Mosca are the tackles. Henry Sorrell, Alan Ray Aldridge, and Bob Krause are the linebackers. The defensive backs, John Williams, Paul Johnson, Garney Henley, Mac Lamb, and Ted Page. 2nd and 5 for Edmonton. Ticats appeared to have that play pegged, and Terry Sworn was forced out. Back at the original line of scrimmage, it's a loss of 5. Paul McKay and Ed Turek are back to receive this 3rd down kick. Fred Dunn will do the chores for Edmonton. McKay is tackled at the 33 by Alan Ishii. A 51-yard kick, a 5-yard return. There's a timeout in the field with 3 minutes to play in the first quarter. The score is Edmonton 7 and Hamilton nothing.
Earlier in the telecast, the experience of the Hamilton club was mentioned. Now, this experience is not only on the field, but filters through the entire organization. Joe Restic, now the head coach, came up from the assistant's position, so he's well aware of the club history and the problems, if any, of course. And then there's the general manager, Ralph Sazio, and Ralph was an assistant under Jim Trimble, then took over as head coach and spent 5 years as the head man before taking over as manager. In that 5 years, he compiled a very impressive record. He won 59, lost 25, and tied only 1. Now, his teams have made the playoff finals in the East 5 times, and he went to the Grey Cup 4 times. In 4 appearances in that Grey Cup game, his team has won a total of 3 titles.
Ticats now will try to get that offense moving. 1st and 10 from their own 32. For most of this quarter, they've operated within their own end of the field. Number 55, Roy Shatsko, got through to quarterback John Ekman, as you'll see again.
A good fake by Ekman as he appears to hand the ball off to Ed Buchanan. But Roy Shatsko is certainly not fooled by it. Puts on an excellent rush to down the Hamilton passer.
It's 2nd and 18 for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, back at the 24. They tried the draw play with Wesolowski, and Shatsko again came up with the tackle. Bain Norrie and Dick Dupuis, 23 and 17 respectively, the punt return pair for the Edmonton Eskimos. Waiting to accept the boot by Joe Zuger. Zuger stands at his own 15. Dupuis brings it back to center field where Alan Ray Aldridge made the tackle. And again, the Edmonton Eskimos have good field position. Mike Law came very close to blocking that punt. It was a 44-yarder and a 9-yard return. From midfield, it's 1st and 10 for the Eskimos. Truhl, the quarterback. Jim Thomas, who scored the touchdown, is tackled by Alan Ray Aldridge. It's a gain of 3. It will be 2nd and 7. 1 minute and 30 seconds remains to be played in the first quarter. 7-0. The Eskimos lead the Hamilton Tiger Cats. King splits right, even is the flanker right. He catches the football just short of the 45-yard line, which could result in a measurement. Bob Krause made the tackle. And the 22,000-plus fans felt that his forward progress perhaps was closer to that 45-yard line than has been indicated by the officials in placing that ball just short of the 45. Norrie and King come out of the game for blocking Power. Molstad and Forwick go in. The Eskimos are gambling on third down. What a gamble that was.
Certainly Don Truhl showing his experience tonight. Everybody in the ballpark expected a dive play. He faked the dive to his back gamble, pitched out the swan, and he goes all the way for a 45-yard touchdown.
It's 13-0 for the Edmonton Eskimos. Cutler will attempt the 14th point. Truhl will hold. It's good. And with 42 seconds remaining in the ball game, or in the first quarter, it's 14-0 for the Edmonton Eskimos, leading the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
You know, Don, there's been quite a bit of talk around the Edmonton area about the speed of, a fellow like Terry Sworn and Bobby Thompson, who is the injured player with Saskatchewan. As a matter of fact, Joe Restic was talking about it, too. They would like to see a foot race between these two speedsters. They can really fly. Some have given the edge to Truhl, the others, of course, to Thompson, but it may be a pretty good setup race sometime.
Ed Buchanan and John Williams to receive the kickoff by Dave Cutler. Williams takes it at the goal line. He's stopped at the 32 by Doug Durst. A 64-yard kickoff, and 31 yards was the length of the return by John Williams.
Pretty good indication of the offensive success of these two ball clubs. As pointed out in one statistic, Hamilton has only been able to convert 1 out of 4 second down plays. The Edmonton Eskimos, including that third down that went for a touchdown, have managed 5 for 7 in this first quarter.
22 seconds remain till quarter time. 14-0. Edmonton leads Hamilton, and this is Ed Buchanan. Number 61, Greg Pipes, if you're watching via the color set in the green and gold uniform, making the tackle on Ed Buchanan. And barring a penalty, this should be the final play of the first quarter. 2nd and 2 for Hamilton. Dave Fleming has more than enough for the first down. The gun sounds to end the first quarter. At the end of the first quarter, the score is Edmonton 14, Hamilton nothing, and we'll return to CFL action after this message.
Hello, I'm Hal Holbrook, asking you to watch The Bold Ones on CBC television. I play United States Senator Hayes Stowe. Sharon Acker appears as my wife in the Senator segment of the dramatic trilogy.
Airplanes, the asbestos they use in building skyscrapers so in the event of a fire, hundreds of people won't be killed. Who are you going to indict, the whole world?
Away, the problem I see, Doctor. We go on making the world better in a way that endangers man's life, though. So that that better world may not be worth living in. I have to stand against that.
Don't use sarcasm on me.
I'm not a felon. I'm not being interrogated.
And, sir, I am not going to help you make your political career out of the problems of my city.
Watch The Bold Ones every week on CBC television. I'm sure you'll like it.
Watch The Bold Ones, Monday night at 9.
Don Whitman, Frank Rigney, Ernie Afaganis, Mo Simovich, and Sim Simone back at Clark Stadium in Edmonton for the second quarter of tonight's Canadian Football League game. An interlocking clash between the Edmonton Eskimos in front 14-0 over the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The Ticats have a first down at their own 49. It appeared to be aimed at Dick Wesolowski. It's incomplete. Greg Pipes was in on the quarterback, John Ekman. For many of the CFL fans who may be wondering, Joe Zuger, of course, suffered that broken wrist in the victory over the British Columbia Lions on Wednesday night. And while he is handling punting chores, is unavailable for quarterbacking duty. That's him, number 9. It's 2nd and 10. Al Irwin made a great catch, but he had stepped into touch.
That's Ekman's 4th attempt, and he hasn't completed one yet. In the first quarter, he was 0 for 2.
Mike Law does a great job of using that sideline as an extra defender here. He realizes that that ball is thrown out of bounds and makes no attempt to interfere with the receiver.
So it's 3rd and 10 for Hamilton. Zuger is back to do the punting. Dupuis is brought down at the 20-yard line. Gord Christian was the first man to make contact. That was a 48-yard punt, and for number 17, a 7-yard return.
Looking at some first quarter statistics, the Eskimos had 4 to Hamilton's 3. They rushed for 62 to Hamilton's 50, and passing a total of 69 for Edmonton. Nothing for Hamilton. In total offense then, the Eskimos gained 131 yards to 42. And Don Truel is 7 for 8.
13 minutes and 52 seconds remain to be played in the second quarter. Edmonton has a first down at the 20. Jim Thomas came up with another great run to the delight of better than 22,000 people. Garney Henley made the tackle, a 24-yard gallop. The Edmonton ground game, which was virtually non-existent in the early stages of this season, has certainly blossomed tonight.
They caught the Hamilton Tiger Cat defense in an overshift to the strong side of the field. You may have seen Mosca and Barrow move over right before that ball was snapped, creating that hole.
1st and 10, Edmonton from their own 43. Terry Sworn attempted to use his speed to get outside, but Teddy Page was having none of that. Number 15 made the tackle for Hamilton. At defensive unit for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, as Paul Schmidlin and Billy Ray Laughlin on the ends, Mosca and Barrow at tackle, Sorrell, Aldridge, and Krause at the linebacking spots, Williams, Johnson, Henley, Lamb, and Page in the backfield. It's 2nd and a little better than 10 for Edmonton. The attempted screen to Thomas is incomplete. It will be 3rd and 10. Schmidlin was applying tremendous pressure on quarterback Don Truel. Paul McKay and Ed Turek, 28 and 39. The punt return combination for Hamilton. Fred Dunn will kick the ball for Edmonton.
Pat! Get down here! Drop it!
Turek took it and returned it to the 35. Henry King was the first downfield for Edmonton. A 34-yard boot and a 4-yard return. First and 10, Hamilton, the ball at the 36. They trail in the ball game, 14-0. Touchdowns by Terry Sworn and Jim Thomas for Edmonton, both converted by Dave Cutler. Tiger Cats came very close to breaking that screen, but Jerry Griffin made the tackle on Ed Buchanan.
Well, both clubs seem to center their attack for the whole quarter and a half of the football game so far on basically throwing that ball and trying to get their people outside.
It's 2nd and 7. The ball is at the 39. Edmonton fans have some fond recollections of the pass-catching ability of this fellow. Now, of course, they are not desirous, really, of seeing him catch too many. Tommy Joe Coffey wears that Hamilton Tiger Cat uniform after being traded in, what year was it, Ernie? 1966 or 67?
66. He had a great year in 65 where he was a Western All-Star, also a Shenley finalist, and he's been getting better with age.
Dave Fleming is finally forced out on the far side of the field by Jim Henschel. The gain is 9. It will be 2nd and 1. Ekman slipped as he moved into that line of scrimmage. John Legrone made the tackle. It's enough for the first down, however. And the Hamilton Tiger Cats will put it in play at the 46. There's a timeout on the field with 10 minutes to play in the second quarter. The score is Edmonton 14 and Hamilton nothing.
Clickety-click, clickety-click. Romantic? Not to us. At CP Rail, that clickety-click is something we want to smooth out. That's why we're constantly checking those big steel wheels. We want them smooth. And it's why we make sure that every one of the 3,000 horses in this diesel engine is pulling its share of the load smoothly. And it's why we're installing rails that are almost 1/4 of a mile long. That way, there are fewer joints to go clickety-click. The result is a smoother ride for you and your freight. At CP Rail, we're after constant improvement in our equipment, methods, and service. Improvement from the rail up. CP Rail, another way Canadian Pacific serves you.
It's 14-0, Edmonton leading Hamilton here at Clark Stadium in Edmonton. Tomorrow, 3 big games in the Canadian Football League. Toronto visits Calgary, Ottawa is in Montreal, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders go against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in Winnipeg. Ekman coming from the bench with instructions from headman Joe Restick on this 1st and 10 play from the 46. Intended for Coffey, incomplete. Frank, that blocking on the left side set up beautifully for Ekman.
The Hamilton offensive lines have been doing a great job, as they did against the British Columbia Lions on Wednesday night. 2 of the fellows on that ball club you can watch, the offensive guards, Bill Danichuk, number 55, and John Holman, number 57. If they get any sort of block from their tight end on those sweeps, these 2 guards can certainly help those ball carriers from Hamilton gain some ground on the sweeps.
It's 2nd and 10, Hamilton from the 46. Dick Dupuis had a lot of open territory in front of him had he been able to hang on to that near interception. We've just been informed that the Edmonton Eskimos tonight have established an all-time attendance record with 23,061 people here in the park. That shatters the old mark of 22,700 set in 1967. This is Joe Zuger punting. Dane Norrie is forced out at the 12-yard line, 45-yard kick, an 11-yard return. Ernie, the Edmonton Eskimos this year are well ahead of any previous year in attendance, particularly with that record crowd here tonight.
Well, I think that the fact that they started quite slow led a lot of people to believe that maybe their crowds would dwindle, but they've been involved in several exciting football games. Now, of course, they're in playoff contention, and anytime you meet Hamilton, you have to draw. This part of the country loves to see Hamilton play.
Edmonton 1st and 10 from the 12-yard line. Teddy Page came up to tackle Jim Thomas at the 5-yard stripe for a loss of 7.
That looked to be a bit of confusion on the part of the Edmonton Eskimos. I think the basic reason was the Hamilton Tiger Cats lined up in what is called a stacked defense with their linebackers immediately behind the Hamilton defensive tackles. This creates some blocking confusion for the offensive linemen and certainly showed on that play.
2nd and 17, Edmonton. King splits right, even flanks to the right. R.C. Gamble brought it back to the 10-yard line. It will be 3rd and 12. Billy Ray Laughlin made the tackle. Preparing to return the punt will be Paul McKay and Ed Turek. And Fred Dunn will punt for the Edmonton Eskimos. Ernie, he's having a pretty good year.
No question about it. This Drake University boy, actually a former Edmonton Husky, is coming into his own.
McKay takes it at the 43 and goes no further. Jim Henshaw makes certain of that. 35-yard kick by Dunn, but the Hamilton Tiger Cats enjoy pretty good field position. Seven minutes and 47 seconds till halftime. It's 14-0. The Edmonton Eskimos leading the Ticats, and Hamilton has the football, 1st and 10 at the 43. Incomplete, very nearly intercepted by Joe Hernandez.
Great fake by quarterback Ekman on this play as he tries to hit Buchanan on an up pattern down the sideline, but Joe Hernandez wasn't fooled a bit.
.21 till halftime. It's 2nd and 10 for the Ticats. Good catch by Gord Christian. Jerry Griffin made the tackle. It may be close to that 1st down.
You saw that man in motion for Hamilton that time, and they're doing this quite often now, trying to run 4- and 5-man patterns on one side of the field, trying to break up that Edmonton zone defense, which they prefer.
At the 7-minute mark of the 2nd quarter, the score is Edmonton 14 and Hamilton nothing.
This quarter of Canadian professional football is being brought to you by
Canadian Pacific. Serving you in so many ways.
The measurement reveals it's 1 yard short of a 1st down. Tommy Joe Coffey, the all-time scoring leader in Canadian football with 802 points, will try a field goal from the 42. It's good. And that cuts the Edmonton advantage to 11 points. 6 minutes and 44 seconds remain till halftime. Frank Rigney and Ernie Afaganis will be around with the most interesting halftime show. We invite you to stay tuned. Among other things, they'll feature two of the rookie head coaches in the CFL this year, Ray Yark and Jim Spavital. Mike Even is brought down by Henry Sorrell at the 54-yard line. It's another Edmonton first down.
If there's going to be a gap in that Hamilton defense in the dying minutes of this first half, it will be between the linebackers who are dropping out of there on pass protection and the deep backs. They're going back now 20, 25 yards on a deep zone coverage to try and prevent the big score.
First and 10 from their own 53. The Eskimos flip the ball. A sensational catch by Henry King.
And just after we say that True will keep the ball short, he goes deep to Henry King, who appears to be interfered with by Mac Lamb, but it results in a 26-yard reception and moves Edmonton into excellent field position.
5:28 till halftime. First and 10, Edmonton, the ball at the 31 of the Ticats. Mosca sensed draw on that play, and R.C. Gamble was thrown back. He picked up 1 yard. It will be 2nd and 9. Mosca, number 68, as pointed out at the start of our show by Frank Rigney, is enjoying an outstanding season. Incomplete, but a penalty flag is down. Ted Page and Mac Lamb were defending on Terry Sworn, who is still lying on the ground.
Let's take a look at Big Angelo Mosca, the pro wrestler in the offseason. He takes a real shot at the offensive guard, number 51, Fritz Greenlee, and he's giving him a good introduction to Canadian football. 266 pounds, Angelo Mosca, a former Notre Dame star. 13 years in the Canadian Football League. And it appears that the star halfback of the Edmonton Eskimos may be injured, Terry Sworn, number 77.
Of course, this would be a tremendous blow to the Edmonton Eskimos as they battle for a playoff spot with the British Columbia Lions and the Calgary Stampeders. Edmonton, entering this game, trailed both the Lions and the Stampeders by 2 points. The applause you hear is due to the fact that Terry Sworn is up and on his feet, but he certainly is anything but mobile, favoring that left leg. And he'll be replaced by Larry Kerichuk.
We certainly hope that Sworn is not seriously injured as Edmonton, Calgary, and BC go down for their run to the playoff berth. And of course, the BC Lions, with their tragic loss of Ernie Pitts in the recent week, will be very much affected by that loss. Sworn appears to have what would be a bad ankle, a sprained ankle on that play.
You can judge from the reaction of this record crowd that Sworn is the most popular individual of the Edmonton Eskimos. It's first down at the 10-yard line. break even, has the touchdown.
Mike even runs a great pattern here as we look at it. He runs a down and out pattern, but he comes back for the football, which all receivers are taught to do, and it results in a 6-point score for the Edmonton Eskimos. That was a 75-yard drive by Edmonton in 5 plays.
4 minutes and 7 seconds till halftime as Dave Cutler attempts the extra point. He is successful, and it's 21-3. Edmonton leading Hamilton. Thus far, a tremendous offensive display by the Eskimos. The Ticats must be wondering just what has hit them tonight, as Edmonton has not been noted in past performance records for any real scoring outburst. 24 Buchanan, 23 Williams to receive the kickoff by Cutler. Williams came very close to busting that one all the way.
Hamilton has done twice now on kickoff returns. They fake the reverse. This time to Henley, and it gives Williams a slot for some running room, and he moves the ball up to the 46-yard line. A 53-yard kick and a 32-yard return.
1st and 10, Hamilton from the 46. Dave Fleming has a first down inside the Edmonton 50. Dave Gasser made the tackle with 3 minutes and 34 seconds till halftime.
Don, just looking down on the bench, we can see that Terry Sworn is walking around trying to loosen up that left knee, which was the injured knee. Now, just how serious it is, we don't know. He is apparently trying to get back into the ball game.
From the 49, it's 1st and 10, Hamilton. Dave Fleming couldn't quite catch up with that football. He was in a foot race with Mike Law and John Wydraney, and he was winning it. But of course, to make it a successful battle, he needed the football in his possession. So it's 2nd and 10 with 3:05 still showing on the scoreboard clock till the halftime intermission. There's a break for the Hamilton Tiger Cats as that ball was deflected to Dick Wesolowski.
This seems to be the history of 1970 in the CFL. Tip passes that result in completions or interceptions. A big break for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, moving them down to almost the 30-yard line.
There's a timeout on the field with 3 minutes to play in the second quarter. The score is Edmonton 21, Hamilton 3.
When we build a CP hotel, we like to be in the center of town where the action is. But more than that, we want our hotels to be unique, to give you some of the flavor of the cities you visit. For instance, who else will give you a tower room overlooking the St. Lawrence? Or has a permanent chorus line for your amusement? Or spreads a city below you and lets you watch it as your restaurant turns? Who else serves you with medieval grace but has your luggage picked up at the airport? Or serves tea on the terrace as you watch the ships come in? CP Hotels give you a unique taste of the places you visit in 12 locations across Canada. We plan it that way when we build our hotels. CP Hotels, another way Canadian Pacific serves you.
The Hamilton Tiger Cats had a break on that last play. Let's see if they can now take advantage. Ed Buchanan has a first down at the 15. Forced into touch by Jim Henschel.
Once again, a bit of a fake and rollout action by John Ekman as they're flooding the right side of that Edmonton zone defense. A great pass by John Ekman, and Buchanan moves the ball down to about the 15.
2 minutes and 33 seconds till halftime. 21-3. Edmonton leads. Hamilton has a first down at the 15. Penalty flags go down on the attempted draw play to Dave Fleming, or make that Dick Wesolowski. John Barker, the head referee, the gentleman wearing the black cap, will give us the signal. Holding is the violation against Hamilton. It's declined by Edmonton. It will be 2nd and 11. Roy Shatsko made the defensive play for Edmonton to catch John Ekman.
I think you have to give the credit on this play to the Edmonton deep backs. There's actually not that much pressure on Ekman, but he was trying to go to Tommy Joe Coffey on a behind pattern. Roy Shatsko finally puts the finish to that thought.
So with the ball being scrimmaged back at the 20-yard line, Tommy Joe Coffey will try the field goal. It's good. His second field goal of the game, adding to his all-time career total. He now has 808 points. And with 1:51 remaining in the first half, it's 21-6. The Edmonton Eskimos leading the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Larry Karichuk is still in there at the halfback position, replacing Terry Swarm. Henry King, the intended receiver, was knocked away from the ball by Allison Ray Aldridge just after he had touched it, and he couldn't maintain his grip on the football. Tomorrow, Toronto is in Calgary. Ottawa visits Montreal, and Saskatchewan will be in Winnipeg. The great veteran John Barrow made the tackle on R.C. Gamble. Barrow, number 61. You're most familiar with this fellow, Frank. He was here when you came into the league, and he's still around. What happened to you?
I got out when the getting was good.
Fred Dunn stands on the 20. McKay takes it at the 37 and is tackled at the 40 by Henry King.
It's amazing when you mention John Barrow. He along with Angelo Mosca, give the Hamilton Tiger Cats a total of 27 years service in the middle of that defensive line. These people may not move quite as quick as they used to, but nobody's going to fool them, and John does an excellent job of reading plays.
With 55 seconds till halftime, it's first down, Hamilton. Dick Dupuy made a great interception. Al Irwin tackled Dupuy, number 17.
Well, this has to be one of the truly great interceptions I've ever seen in the Canadian Football League. Once again, Ekman rolls out. He gets good pressure from John Legrone. And Dupuy goes up and makes a one-handed classic catch.
There's still time, 40 seconds on the clock. Eben will stop it, stepping out at the 33. Ted Page made the tackle. And 32 seconds still show till halftime. The ball is at the 34. It's 1st and 10, Edmonton. They lead 21-6. I wonder if the record books will officially credit Bain Norrie with that tackle. Don Truell, in attempting to maneuver, ran into Norrie, who was trying to block. Ray York has done an exceptional job with this very young Edmonton team this year. He has 10 new people in his offensive lineup. With just 11 seconds remaining, Dave Cutler is sent into the ball game to attempt the field goal.
Actually, Truell's got an excellent protection tonight. I think you have to give again, as we did to the Edmonton defensive backs. The Hamilton Tiger Cats defensive backs had all the Eskimo receivers covered.
His kick will come from the 47. It's good. (24-6), the Edmonton Eskimos lead the Hamilton Tiger Cats. A 47-yard field goal by Dave Cutler. It was intended for Dave Fleming. Dick Dupuy knocked it down. That's the end of the first half. The score is Edmonton 24, Hamilton 6, and we'll bring you our halftime show after this message.
Turn on your world with CP Trucks. This is the world of CP Trucks, the Smith Transport world, the CP Express world, the CP Transport world. Here's our Smith Transport model. Rugged for the long haul. Big, roomy, nearly 3,000 cubic feet of luggage space. This is our sporty CP Express model, fast, efficient, for city traffic or highway jaunts. Comes with matching trailer. And now, our CP Transport model. This one has temperature control. You can keep it at any degree you want. These and many, many more models are available now at CP Truck Terminals coast to coast. Call us for a demonstration.
Smith Transport, CP Express, CP Transport. Trucking, another way Canadian Pacific serves you.
Well, that was quite a football game, at least the first half for the Edmonton Eskimos, but there's still 30 minutes of action remaining, and I'm sure the Hamilton Tiger Cats have a lot in store for the Eskimos when they come through. Well, you know, on our previous telecasts, we showed you some of the rookie coaches in the CFL. Now, and we told you at that time that we'll be showing some more of them, and we have two rookie coaches out here in the West. Jim Spavital is out in Winnipeg, and of course Ray York right here in Edmonton. Now, Ray York came to the Bombers a long time ago, as a matter of fact, from the University of Iowa, where he was a star. And then he got hurt in a Grey Cup game in 1961. It ended his career. He went to the Winnipeg Rods, then to Iowa as an assistant, and now with Neil Armstrong, and of course joined the head coaching staff here this season, and he has been doing quite a job. Ray York now in his rookie year as a head coach.
The transition from a assistant coach to a head coach is one, I felt that it's a big transition. As an assistant coach, sometimes it's pretty easy to make rapid decisions and things, whereas at a head coach, I feel that you get more of the perspective, more of the repercussions, so to speak, more of the things that might happen, and I think that you find that you take a little more time in making some decisions.
11 and just put Thomas down there and hit him with it. Just try to get back quick and throw it up for him, see?
I'm sorry, I pulled you. I had to lead you back because he was behind you.
Well, I felt myself that I did change slightly in the fact that I slowed down my tempo a little bit, learned to try to read into people, to try to make the adjustments that were necessary to do the things in the best interest of the club.
Man, the last one. You come up and play a 2 on the flat and let him stay deep, all right? He'll take the deep man, you take the short man.
Number one, my job is to win football games. I'm really not interested in personality contests of being liked or disliked. I think that you have to, number one, look at the fact, how can you best win football games, and adjust your personality from there. I sleep at night very well. I found that sleeping at night really doesn't concern me that much, because I've always get a good night's sleep, and I feel that when I leave the football park, that's it. We've done our job during the daytime. We do our job at practice. And when you go home, rest, see the family, and then go back to work the next day.
Forwick out there? Herman! Get out there, Herman. Okay, you okay? How's that leg? Yeah, I just soon keep you off that punt team, okay?
The guy comes down on my leg.
Yeah. Of course, you get a little mad once in a while, but I think that you still have to restrain your emotions that might affect your judgment in making the decisions that are necessary.
All right, let's go. Your percentages, sometimes you want to throw on first down. You know, you got a better percentage, see? On the strong set, the over and under really looks good because the linebacker on the strong side goes way out, and there should be a hell of a hole there, see?
Is there a blitz in, or did he just dump it?
No, he just dumped it off. Might have been a Mac goal, see? You had him? Punt team, punt team.
He's trying to get some protection there.
Yeah.
He can't. He's got to pick the man up outside. He goes inside and gets things up.
I got Denny and Lancaster over on the other side talking like hell. The tight end, 77, so... Or 72, or 72. 72, so watch him on the weak side, okay?
During the game, I don't think that you can think about anything but the football game. Your emotions, I think, have to be limited. I know from my own standpoint, the way I feel about it, it isn't the play that has just transpired that's important. I don't think that you should let that bother you. What has happened, much that happens in everyday life. The most important thing, I feel, is the next play. And you have to keep the proper perspective, the proper frame of mind in order to try to make the right decisions to make that next play the one that will be the satisfactory play that might win the ball game for you.
In Winnipeg, Jim Spavital has an impressive background. He coached high school ball and at Oklahoma State University under Cliff Spiegel, then gained a flattering recommendation from his head coach last year, Eagle Keyes. He was a Bomber fullback in 1951 and with Baltimore Colts before that. His football philosophy is to be dedicated and in perfect condition.
I had to go to the flat, and then he broke deep, so I started going back.
I was watching Shaw longer than I should have. He did about a 15 or 20-yard breakout. At least, well,
Shaw went first to the flat and then down the field.
Harrison was wide open in there. I think that mental conditioning as well as physical conditioning is very important as far as football is concerned. We believe that you have to be in the best physical condition that you can possibly be in. So consequently, a young man has to work a little harder and put out a little more than he thinks that he's able of putting out. Going along with physical conditioning, you have to be mental conditioned as well. We feel that a young man has to be intent as to be a good football player. He's got to live it, breathe it, think it, every moment that he possibly can. He's thinking.
Hunt right there, you got to block that outside man now.
Oh, 77 came through, and I was the first guy I seen. That's why I stuck up in there. Took him up the middle.
Naturally, when we hit the field, we feel that they have to be a business-like as far as the game condition is concerned, as well as practice. We try to hold our practices as business-like as you possibly can. We have it organized down to the minute.
what every man is supposed to do. We know that between drills and the different areas they have to go for the drills and so forth, that we're going to lose approximately anywhere from 8 to 12 minutes during a football practice, which they won't be practicing at all. So when we tell a young man he's going to be out there an hour and a half, he's not working an hour and a half. He's only actually working maybe an hour and 20 minutes or an hour and 15 minutes. We think same way under the game conditions. We try to keep it organized that everybody knows exactly what they're supposed to do when it happens. They have to be alert. They have to be aware of the situation at all time, so that I won't have to say, well, I want the punting team in or I want the field goal team in. They should know if it's 3rd and 3 that the field goal or the punting team is going to go in. We try to get a young man to know and to feel and try to know as much as the overall program that we have as he possibly can, because we feel if he does this, then naturally he's going to be a better football player.
On that now, he's going to the strong side way before the ball snaps.
I've always felt that being a coach and having played the game for many years, that football was number one to me.
Two fine rookie coaches in the CFL, Jim Spavital of Winnipeg, Ray Yock of the Eskimos. Well, we have a special guest tonight. His name is John Slade, and he's the executive chairman of Grey Cup Festival. John is from Toronto. The Grey Cup, of course, is in Toronto this season. And John, I think for the first time in many, many years, that blasé attitude has left Toronto. They have decided to make something out of it and show people what can really happen back in that city in Ontario.
Yes, we are trying to go all out this year. Metropolitan Toronto and the boroughs are all part of the being just a host this year. And as anyone knows, if you want to make something really great, you've got to get everyone involved. And so we're out west promoting the festival, and we do hope that all Canadians will take part, will come down to Toronto and really make something out of this festival.
This theme, then, you're carrying through is to get everybody involved. But how are you going to do that?
Well, we just came in from Vancouver, now we're in Edmonton. Just asking the people to set aside the week, November 22nd to the 28th, for Toronto.
You have, well, first of all, you're going to allow everyone in the Grey Cup pageant or the beauty contest itself.
That's right. This is held at the Royal York. We have rock concerts. We have all types of bands from Guy Lombardo on down. Just 50 events. Every day there's an event going on. We want people to enjoy themselves.
I understand, too, that this year you're going to allow people to get out there and have some flapjacks on the corners. Toronto sponsored.
That's right. That's right. Flapjacks, anything you want for breakfast.
You're not promoting the game itself. You're really promoting the fact that the entire week is going to be a fun week.
That's right. We want everyone, though, to come out to the game.
What about the skating party that you have planned in your beautiful city hall?
Right. Well, we've got dances and a skating party with the Miss Grey Cup contestants there. It's really going to be a great week.
All right, John, I know that you're going to go across the country and promote this, and I know you're moving east from here. Lots of luck, and we'll see you during the Grey Cup Festival.
Thanks very much.
John Slade, who is the executive chairman of Grey Cup Festival. Well, the halftime score here is Edmonton 24 and Hamilton 6, and we'll continue with our halftime show right after this message.
This is the Lambert family. I don't know much about CP Rail, but we've had a lot to do with them anyway. For instance, we brought Mrs. Lambert's ham from Saskatchewan, her dress from Montreal, George's pipe from Quebec City. We know their car, too. We delivered it from the plant. Their boat came from Vancouver, the cooler from Kitchener, Diane's doll from Toronto. The barbecue's from Winnipeg, the trailer from Alberta. We used the new flat cars for that. We brought the apples from BC in a refrigerator car. From the Maritimes, we brought...
Funny how involved you get with people when you run a railway. And you know, it keeps changing the way we look, because we keep building different kinds of freight cars to help us get different kinds of goods to you. CP Rail, another way Canadian Pacific serves you.
This is the CBC Television Network.
This is one time where statistics really do not lie, because Edmonton has that lead, and they lead in statistics too. First of all, looking at first downs, we see that Edmonton has 9 to 7 for Hamilton. In rushing, 82 for Edmonton. Hamilton picked up 60, most of that, incidentally, in the second quarter. In passing, 149 for the Eskimos, and for Hamilton, a total of 68. Now, the Eskimos have lost 5 yards, the Hamilton club 12, so when you look at total offense, you see that we have 226 for the Eskimos, 116 for Hamilton. That's in total offense. Looking at some other stats, Don Truel has completed 11 of 14, a fantastic evening for him because his average is about 48.5%, and he's well above that. Ekman is having just a little more problem with Hamilton. He's 6 for 15, although remember, he started out the first quarter 0 for 2. Edmonton has intercepted 2 passes, Hamilton none so far. And in punting, Edmonton with Dunn has hit the ball 5 times for an average of 41. The identical record for Joe Zuger, 5 punts on an average of 41 yards. In penalties, the Eskimos have yet to be penalized. Hamilton has been penalized twice for a total of 20 yards, and incidentally, on some individual statistics on leaders, Terry Sworn is leading in the rushing department. He has carried the ball 4 times for a total of 48 yards. Henry King of the Eskimos has caught 3 passes for a total of 65 yards. Those are the statistics of the first half. Now, the score in the first half is Edmonton 24, Hamilton 6, and we'll continue with our halftime show after this message.
Fifth Cavalry withdraws. Counterattack. Forward artillery. Victory.
The murder was calculated, precise, executed with that. Is the case bizarre enough for you, Mr. Arcane?
Mr. Arcane, connoisseur, collector, catalyst. His love of the good life, second only to his fascination with murder. There are 3 ways to solve an insoluble murder. They're writ.
Most Deadly Game begins Friday, October 9th.
I think everyone across the country, and certainly here in Edmonton, were surprised to see that tremendous Edmonton thrust in the first half where they gained a total of 24 points. It's quite unusual for them, Frank, to jump on a ball club that quick.
It was a big offensive night for the Edmonton Eskimos, and rightly so, with a record crowd of 23,067 people. Our first highlight here shows Ekman trying to hit Buchanan, and on a tip pass, Joe Hernandez makes a fine interception for Edmonton and a break early in the first quarter. Edmonton Eskimos come right back after that interception as Don Truel drops back to about his 45-yard line and hits Henry King, his tight end, number 25, who beats Mac Lamb down to the 5-yard line. And Truel shows his experience on this play, an 8-year veteran in professional football, as he comes right back with the same play that had been incomplete right before this and hits Jim Thomas for a very important touchdown for the Edmonton Eskimos. They go ahead at this point 6-0. And on a 3rd and 1 situation, Truel fakes to his diving back, pitches out to Sworn, and Sworn speeds down that sideline for another important touchdown for the Edmonton Eskimos. Jim Thomas back at his running back position now, and blocking for Don Truel as he hits Henry King on what appears to be an interference call. However, King controls the football and moves it down to the Hamilton 32-yard line. Even the little flanker number 22, the former Toronto Argonaut, makes a great move on this play, running a breakout pattern. He comes back to get the football, beating his defender very clearly, and moves the ball in for a touchdown. When the breaks are going against you, they seem to go in streaks. And this year we've seen a number of tip passes and so forth. But look at this great interception by Dick Dupuis, number 17. One of the finest interceptions we've seen all year, if not in many years in the Canadian Football League. This set up the last field goal for the Edmonton Eskimos and resulted in that 24-6 halftime score.
The acquisition of Dupuis from the Calgary Stampeders certainly has helped the Edmonton Ball Club, Frank.
Well, of course, they've molded a number of people into this Edmonton Ball Club, a number of new people that have really come through for them in the last 2 or 3 ball games. And, of course, the big one is Don Truel, who's having an excellent night, as you pointed out in the statistics, Ernie.
You know, I think that Ray Yauch made 2 other important moves that, well, didn't get too much publicity. First of all, he had Henry King at halfback, moved him into the tight end slot because he could block. They were watching it in the films. And then moving Terry Sworn from a flanker or split end position last year to the halfback slot.
That's true. He's not only brought in a lot of new people, but he's moved around a new position, and it's working out very well for him tonight. The biggest night offensively they've had this year so far.
All right, Frank Rigney, and the halftime score here at Clark Stadium is Edmonton 24 and Hamilton 6. And we'll return with our second half kickoff right after this message.
Meet the interns and join in their exciting lives.
Doctor, why are you doing this?
I'm going to give you a choice. Let's see. 1, maybe I'm a racist and a bigot. 2, maybe I want you to learn how to control your temper. And 3, maybe I want you to help the brother to learn how to pronounce certain words he's not familiar with. Whatever you pick, make it fast. I think he's got cancer.
I imagine you're wondering why a doctor brought you your breakfast.
I wasn't wondering. I know why.
Your husband is dead. He was poisoned.
Greg, you said you wouldn't. You said, you told me you turned him down. No, you told me you wouldn't do it.
The Interns, Thursdays at 8.
Don Whitman, Frank Rigney, and Ernie Afaganis back at Clark Stadium in Edmonton as we prepare to start the second half of this interlocking clash with the Eskimos leading the Hamilton Tiger Cats 24-6. A kickoff return combination for the Edmonton Eskimos. And a fellow the Eskimos are certainly glad to have back, standing on that goal line, Jim Thomas. Kick goes to Hernandez at the 5. Hernandez crosses to the 32. Paul Johnson made the tackle, and it's interesting to see that Terry Sworn is back on the field for the Edmonton Eskimos. A 60-yard kickoff for Joe Hernandez, a 22-yard return. It's 1st and 10 for the Edmonton Eskimos. The ball is at the 31. King splits to the right and even flanks right. Angelo Mosca, number 68, and the veteran John Barrow both had a hand in bringing down R.C. Gamble. I suppose, in a way, welcoming him to the Canadian Football League. A couple of great veterans in the interior of that Hamilton defensive unit, Mosca and Barrow. Gain of 4, 2nd and 6 is the play confronting Don Truel. Pass is incomplete. Garney Henley was defending on Mike Eben. Truel got away to a slow start at that quarterbacking spot for Edmonton, but the coaching staff had the patience and the confidence in him, and he has developed, particularly in the last 2 games. Of pitching out to Ed Purick, and wisely hung on. He was tackled at the 40 by Henry King. That was a 38-yard punt and a 3-yard return. 13 minutes and 35 seconds remain in the third quarter. 24-6 is the score, with the Edmonton Eskimos leading the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Ed Buchanan has a first down. He crosses the midfield stripe. Jim Henschel made the tackle at the 53 of Edmonton. Buchanan was the 5th leading rusher in the Eastern Conference entering this football game. Dave Ramey of Toronto is the leader. Henschel came up to make the tackle on Dave Fleming. No gain. It will be 2nd and 10. Tomorrow, the Toronto Argonauts visit Calgary. Ottawa is at Montreal, and Saskatchewan takes on Winnipeg. Prevented him from going all the way. But see if you can detect something in the replay.
Once again, we have a tip pass. White Draney picks this off. Watch number 27, Mike Law, who makes a great block near the far sideline. But after making that block, he appears to hold the Hamilton Tiger Cat defender right there. Great play by John Wydraney, number 15 of the Edmonton Eskimos, but a bad break in terms of field position. Being called on a holding penalty and put down in their own territory. Back to the 15-yard line.
So that will abrogate the large return on that interception by Wydraney. The rough play infraction apparently taking place after the interception by Wydraney, behind Wydraney on the intended pass receiver of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. So it's first down for Edmonton at the 15. They retain possession of the ball on Wydraney's interception. Terry Sworn had the ball thrown over his head.
It's interesting, Don, did you note it? It appeared to me that they called the Edmonton Eskimos for 2 penalties on that play, both a holding and a roughing call. I don't know which came first, however.
Second and 10 for Edmonton. A big assist on this one. Watch the block he throws.
Even does a great job on this inside screen, a play that the BC Lions use very effectively with Jim Young. There's Mike Even right there, springing Sworn loose to the outside for a 23-yard gain.
First down from the 37 as Truel comes up with that key second down play again. Thus far in the game, there has not been much running room through the middle of that Hamilton defensive unit. John Barrow is one of the reasons. Angelo Mosca another, and Alan Ray Aldridge, who is backing up the middle of that line, also had a hand in stopping R.C. Gamble after a gain of 2. It's 2nd and 8. Norrie carries that football to the 50 of the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Great pattern run by Norrie here. Just a straight drop back pattern by Truel, a down and in.
There's a timeout in the field with 10 minutes to play in the third quarter. The score is Edmonton 24 and Hamilton 6.
Now, the games this weekend could cause quite a shakeup in the standings, both east and west. With a win tonight, Hamilton can take over top spot in the east, but then Montreal can regain a share of first if they defeat Ottawa tomorrow. A loss by Hamilton and Montreal this weekend could cost them both the lead. Now, Toronto plays in Calgary tomorrow, and if Hamilton and Montreal lose and Toronto wins, there's a three-way tie in the east. You can't get them any closer than that. Losses by Montreal, Hamilton, and Toronto, and a win for Ottawa then creates two ties. The Cats and Alouettes for first, while Toronto and Ottawa will be second, only 2 points behind. If Edmonton wins tonight, there's a three-way tie for second place between Calgary, BC, and the Eskimos, and of course Calgary has a chance to break it tomorrow.
The Eskimos, on the passing arm of Don Truel, have moved that football from their own 15 and now rests on the Hamilton 50, and they have another first down. Edmonton leads Hamilton 24-6 here in the third quarter. Penalty flag is down. Garney Henley forced out Jim Thomas, but R.C. Gamble may be guilty of an infraction.
Once again, Jim Thomas back to that halfback position on the old Statue of Liberty play, reverse around the left side. Gamble gets called for a clipping penalty. The play is called back to the Edmonton end of the field.
With the penalty yardage tacked on, the ball is moved back to the 45. It will be first down repeated with 25 yards to go. The pass is incomplete. Bob Krause defended on Mike Eben.
So far, Don, of course, in Canadian football, the big play is that second down and long yardage. Don Truel and the Edmonton Eskimos have been able to convert 8 out of 13 so far in this ball game, 61%. Hamilton has only been able to convert 5 of 15 opportunities, but this is a big one.
Another flag goes down. The pass is incomplete. Dane Norrie, the intended receiver.
It appeared that Travis and Greenlee may have given Angelo Mosca a bad time on that one, Don.
The holding infraction against the Eskimos is declined by Hamilton.
I don't think you can really blame Greenlee for trying to give Mosca a bad time after what we saw Mosca do on that isolated shot in the first half.
McKay and Turek prepare for Fred Dunn's third down kick. That's one of his better ones. McKay took it at the 20 and returned it to the 30. Howie Shum made the tackle. A 45-yard kick, a 10-yard return. Paul McKay reactivated just today by the Hamilton Tiger Cats as punting insurance in the event that Joe Zuger would not be able to perform efficiently. Well, who was the last man to touch it? What do you think as you look in?
Well, rather than leave it to guesswork, let's take a look once again as Ekman tries to lateral this ball right when he's hit.
I would say that Fleming had a hand on that football, but couldn't get two around it. It squirted into touch. Hamilton retains possession. And Dave Fleming crosses the 40 to the 43 into first down territory, where Doug Dersch made the tackle.
It's interesting to note how both ball clubs have gone to that screen pass so often during this football game. It's rather amazing because neither rush by the defensive lines has been particularly troublesome to them.
7 minutes and 30 seconds remain in the third quarter. Fleming again the carrier, and Dick Dupuis made the tackle. At the 49, it will be 2nd and 6. At the 7-minute mark of the third quarter, the score is Edmonton 24, Hamilton 6.
A couple of reminders of upcoming CBC national telecasts. This Wednesday, September the 30th, an interesting special called Bobby Orr and the Canadian Game. All about a young man who has taken over as the #1 hockey player in the world today. And next Saturday, for horse racing fans, the live broadcast of the Breeders' Stakes from Woodbine in Toronto.
It's 2nd and 6 for the Tiger Cats. Ball is at the 49. Touchdown as Jim Henshaw pitched it out after making the interception.
Once again, good protection for quarterback John Ekman. He tries to hit Ed Buchanan on a hook pattern to the outside. Henshaw, however, steps in there, picks off the reception, and makes an excellent run to score a 63-yard touchdown for the Edmonton Eskimos.
Well, the Edmonton Eskimos are certainly putting it all together tonight. There was a penalty marker on that play. Rough play was charged against Hamilton. It was, of course, declined by the Edmonton Eskimos. Dave Kuttner attempts the extra point on the Hernandez touchdown. It's now Edmonton 31, Hamilton 6. Hamilton on Wednesday night defeated the British Columbia Lions 26-14. And I don't really think they anticipated the scoring outburst that the Edmonton Eskimos have displayed tonight. And of course, Joe Restick doesn't have his #1 quarterback, Joe Zuger, in the lineup tonight, at least as a quarterback. The chore has fallen to John Ekman, and he has had a couple of costly interceptions. Buchanan takes it at the 6. Spun down at the 43 by Dave Cutler, the kicker. A 59-yard kickoff and a 37-yard return. .6 minutes and 39 seconds remain in the third quarter.